again, folks. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you are here for another fun video. So my name is Katie and you are watching the Haunted Lighthouse Historians 31 Days of Vlogtober, and we are on day number 12. So today's prompt was holiday horror. This guy right here. So I asked you guys to give me some suggestions for your favorite movies that happen on a specific holiday that is not Halloween. So I am going to be getting to my picks in just a couple minutes, but let's of course start with our song choice as we always do. And mine today is by the band called The Doors. I'm sure you've heard this song before. It's called People Are Strange, and it's not necessarily a Halloween or spooky time song, but I think that it encompasses the spooky vibes perfectly. You know, when you're, especially like when you're a kid, and I was a kid when I first heard this song, so it kind of struck a chord in me, you know, saying when you're strange, people are stranger, and everything is just a little bit stranger than somebody else would typically expect it to be. And I don't know, it just really resonated with me because I felt that way a lot. You know, I felt like a weird, strange kid, but I also gravitated to other people that felt weird and strange. So I think it's a great song for this time of year, and one you should definitely add to your playlists if it's not already there. So let's listen to a little bit of People Are Strange by The Doors.
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when
Well,
you're unwanted. Streets
kinda
are
wicked.
evil when you're down. When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange.
That's all you're gonna get. That's all I'm giving you. So, again, the song for today is The Doors, People Are Strange. So if you have not heard that song before, I'm sorry you've been living your life without it, because it's fabulous. So definitely check that out. So let's move along to my book recommendation for today. And it is for I'm giving a third shout out to Ron Kolick and Maureen Wood. I love these guys so much. I've got all their books. So our choice for today is More Ghost Chronicles by Ron Kolick and Maureen Wood. And this is just a continuation of tales from the original The Ghost Chronicles. So The Ghost Chronicles, I think, had a bit more easily recognizable names. This book has a lot of stories that I had never heard of before, different places that I've never heard of. So it goes through the Reverend's Secret, the Legend of Dudley Road, the 1859 house, the Portsmouth Harbor Lighthouse. There's always got to be a lighthouse in these guys. Ghost Bride, a sea captain, a drunken sailor, and a nice old lady. The Keeper, Georgia, New London Ledge Lighthouse, the Sprague Mansion, Turtle Mound, Attack of the Pugquudgy. So there are quite a bit of stories. I didn't even tell you all of them, but I really enjoy their writing style, like I've said in previous recommendations for these guys, but I do love that they give you both perspectives of what they're doing. You know what I mean? So if they're going into a haunted location, they will give you Ron's analysis of what's going on, you know, from his more skeptical brain, science, analytical side, and then they will also give you Maureen's perspective. So Maureen is a trance medium, and so she of course experiences all of these places differently. So I really think it's a great collection of stories. It's a nice book. It's a taller book than normal paperbacks. That's the word I'm groping for. It's a taller book than most paperbacks, but I really enjoy it. It's a quick read. I mean, because a lot of it is set up in, you know, just different. There's one that has the kind of the case analysis on the front page. So they talk, you know, The Legend of Dudley Road is episode 3. And so it says the case file number, the location, its history, reported paranormal activity, any clients that, you know, called them to the scene, investigators, and then press information if they had anybody from a local newspaper or TV channel, things like that. And then they give an ultimate purpose for the investigation. So then after that, they kind of go through a little story time where they talk about, you know, going to the location, what Ron and Maureen were doing during the time, and then they kind of break it down into, you know, a whole dialogue. So you're kind of getting both perspectives from Maureen and Ron. And I just think it's a really, really fabulous way to write a book and really engaging, and I just can't seem to get enough of their stuff. So if they put out a new book, I'm more than likely going to be buying it. So definitely check out more Ghost Chronicles as my recommendation for today. So let's go into our movie recommendations next. And now this first recommendation is the one I have with me is a remake, but I kind of want to talk about both versions because I really like the first version better than the second, as it typically is, right? I mean, same way with The Fog. I don't even consider The Fog, the 2000s version of The Fog, to be a remake. It's an awful movie. Don't watch it. How about that? And the first Fog movie is so good. So it kind of breaks my heart a little bit that they went off such a weird beaten path with that second movie. But this one's a little similar to that in that these are not the same story. So if you watch My Bloody Valentine, so that's my story for today, is My Bloody Valentine. And like I said, I've only got the 2009 version. I don't have the 1981 original. But if you watch the original My Bloody Valentine, the story is not the same as this one. The characters are different. And I don't know if I've ever seen a movie do that before, where, you know, you have a suspected killer, and then they change it up in the remake. So I did like that aspect because it was definitely not something I was expecting, but it was also kind of jarring because you're expecting one thing and then it turns out to be something different. So I was not a purist in any way, shape, or form when I saw this movie, because I actually saw this version first, and then I went back and watched the first one, and I still like the first one better. And usually it's like the first movie you see you like better than the original, but I don't know. I like this one, and I bought it, obviously, but the original, I think, is shades better than this one. And like I said, both of the storylines are a little different. Both have to do with a mine accident and I'm sorry, excuse me, one lone survivor of the mining accident. I think the first one, there was a collapse and the lone survivor, Harry Warden, turned to cannibalism to stay alive. When they found him, he was basically insane. In the second movie, I think that there was another type of an accident, but Harry ended up murdering his other fellow miners in order to conserve his own oxygen so he could stay alive. But both kind of ways, he, you know, ends up, you know, in a mental asylum. I think actually in the first movie he kills himself. In the second movie it's said that he's sent to the insane asylum. But nobody's really sure if Harry is dead because he escapes the insane asylum, and so nobody's quite sure what's going on with him. And since this accident happens on Valentine's Day, the running thing is that Harry says that if they continue to do this Valentine's Day dance, he will come back and murder people. Because in the first movie, the whole thing was there were two supervisors that left to go to the Valentine's Day dance. They left the other miners unsupervised. This accident happens. So that was the direct result of why the Valentine's Day dance is such a awful thing for Harry. In the second movie, I don't think it's so easily defined. I don't think there was a situation where supervisors went. I think it happened on Valentine's Day and the dance was going on. So I don't think that there was a direct correlation like in the first movie. But it's the same thing. So if, you know, the town decides to keep going along with this dance, then he's going to come back and murder everybody. So of course the town gives it like a 10-year grace period, and then they're like, it's been long enough. We think he's dead. Let's just do it again. And of course, it never works out too well, does it? So the dance is reinstated, and of course, one by one, people start getting murdered. But I'm not going to give you any more major details about this movie. I think that these are both easily accessible. I don't know if they're streaming. I I think this was on Shudder at one point, but it's not on there anymore. But it should be easy enough to find if you want to watch them. They're definitely on Amazon. And like I said, I would recommend watching the 1981 version over this one. This one kind of had, in that early 2000s, they had that 3D thing where they were trying to grab new audiences by putting that kind of gimmick into the movie. And I was never a really big fan of 3D. It hurts my eyes because I've already got glasses on my head. So putting 3D glasses on top of those, since everything is already kind of separated from my retina, it hurts my eyes and sometimes gives me a little bit of a funky belly. So 3D is not my bag. And luckily on this DVD, I think that you are able to choose just the regular 2D version, because I don't have 3D glasses, obviously. And I bought that copy from Blockbuster Video, if you couldn't tell from the stickers on it. And of course, it doesn't come with 3D glasses. So it's really like, well, what's the point of 3D without 3D glasses? But anyway, so if you have not seen My Bloody Valentine, I definitely recommend it. Some of the kills are absolutely epic. Of course, it has to do with, a miner, so he has a pickaxe. And I'll say in the second movie, there is a kill at a hotel, or a motel, I guess, that is pretty brutal. And I absolutely, I feel bad saying I love it, but, if you're a horror fan, you don't mind watching people get hacked up, I guess, but that makes me sound like a psychopath. I'm so sorry. I just really enjoyed the movie, okay? So, check it out. You won't be disappointed.
Messages.
Sorry. My mother just texted me. So my second movie is going to be and this is not necessarily a holiday, but for individual people, it's definitely a holiday for their year. So it is Happy Death Day. So this movie came out in 2012, maybe? It's not giving me... Oh, come on, Blumhouse. Work with me here. Where is it at? Alright, let me put this on a hold, and I'll find it. Okay, I found it. So it's 2017. I was way off. I think I was still thinking about My Bloody Valentine. But yeah, so Happy Death Day hit theaters in 2017, and it is just so freaking good. So this stars Jessica Roth, and she plays a character named Teresa, but they call her Tree. And so it is a kind of an homage to Groundhog Day, where she keeps reliving the same birthday over and over and over again, and she gets murdered every single time. No matter what she does, no matter what she tries to do to change the cycle, she's consistently being murdered. So the ultimate goal is for her to figure out who it is that's killing her, so that she can maybe change the dynamic, save herself, and then live on to get to the next day. So really well done movie. And I remember hearing the premise for this movie and I was like, so it's just horror Groundhog's Day, great. Like, I really wasn't like thrilled by the notion. I never saw it in theaters, unfortunately. I'm kicking myself now because I saw it on, I think, on HBO or something, and I absolutely loved it. And I was like, oh damn it, I hate it when that happens, where it's such a good movie and you're like, you didn't give it enough credit when it came out, and now you just feel silly. So I definitely recommend you see Happy Death Day. The storyline is great. The characters are fabulous. Like, Tree plays a very unlovable character to begin with. She's a spoiled, self-titled girl that is in a sorority, of course, living in the sorority house. She's having an affair with a married teacher, and it's just like, she has no redeeming qualities at all. She is awful. And as the movie progresses and she kind of sees different aspects of her life that she normally wouldn't have even batted an eye at, she realizes that, oh my gosh, maybe I am an awful person. And then from then on, I think that her whole demeanor changes and she's able to really hone in on what she's doing and trying to solve this mystery. So it's a very surprising end. I wasn't expecting who the killer was, so I thought that that was a really cool twist. And then this movie did so well that they put out a second film, Happy Death Day 2, and I think that one is just as good as the first one. I mean, well, okay, not just as good. There are certain elements in that second one that it's kind of like, like the storyline itself is a little contrived about how she again gets sucked into this time loop where she's reliving the same day over and over again. And they do replay the same day, like she ends up getting sucked right back into that day. So it was like she had one afternoon of normalcy and then she gets sucked right back into this day. So I don't know. I really enjoyed it. And I know a lot of people, you know, would think that that was hokey and goofy, but I don't care. I love the storyline. I love the characters. If they come out with more, I will probably see them all, just because if they've got Jessica Rothe as the lead character, I think that they're going to be amazing movies. So definitely check out that movie. I actually just saw Jessica Rothe. My husband Rob and I watched that Utopia on Amazon Prime, and I was so excited. I'm like, oh my god, Jessica Roth's in this. I may actually enjoy this. That didn't last long, so I'm not going to really give away any more things about that show, but if you're watching it just for Jessica Rothe, find another reason to watch it. That's all I'll say. So, I was a little disappointed. I couldn't help but be. But anyway, so that is my choice for the day on my movies. So let's move on to my TV show recommendation. And this is an oldie. This one came out in 2009, I think, as well. It was a CBS show, but I never saw it when it originally showed on CBS. They replayed it over on Sci-Fi Network, and so I watched it on the Sci-Fi channel. And this is Harper's Island. So I don't know, like I said, if you've not heard of it, you wouldn't be in the majority there. I don't think anybody's heard about this show. It kind of was just a sleeper hit. I really enjoyed it, but it's very hard to come by now. I've scoured the internet the last couple of days to try and find the series so I could rewatch it before I did my my evaluation of it, I guess, but I can't find it anywhere, so I'm going to end up having to buy the DVD box set through Amazon or something, but it's like $35, and that's their sale price for it. So I may have to put that on a hold and just kind of keep an eye on the price for a while. But like I said, this was a TV series. It was just a 13-episode singular season, and Harper's Island was about a big wedding that's taking place on Harper's Island. So Chris Gorham plays the main the guy that's getting married, and so he, you know, lived and grew up on the island, and his best friend Abby Mills, which funnily enough is the same character name for the Sleepy Hollow character. Her name's Abby Mills too. I just thought that was strange, but anyway, so Henry and Abby are good friends, and they have not seen each other in years because the last time they were on the island, somebody was murdering people, and one of the people that got murdered was Abby's mother. So she was traumatized by the whole thing. Her dad was the local sheriff, and he ended up actually shooting and killing the serial killer, or so we think. So bringing Abby back to the island is kind of traumatic, but it's her best friend and she wants to celebrate his big day, so she decides to come back. And so, of course, with a horror series, one by one, characters are getting murdered off. And so you kind of get introduced to a huge group of characters. There's about 20 or 25 of them, I think. And there were only 13 episodes. So it whittles it down to pretty much like, you know, 1 or 2 survivors. So you can kind of get the gist of how many kills you're getting per episode. But, you know, some of the characters you don't care about because you didn't get a whole lot of their storyline to really, you know, care. But there were a couple characters that, you know, they made it quite through the series, and you did have an affinity for them. So when they finally got killed, it was pretty sad. But I really enjoyed the way they did this series. I liked the way that they were taking kind of a kill of the week scenario and compressing it into just this one whole series of a TV show. So the serial killer at the end, I was not expecting him up until, I think the last 2 episodes I kind of was putting the blame on that person, but I'm not going to give you details about it because I still feel like you could find this if you wanted to on Amazon. I really enjoyed this show. And I wouldn't be giving this as a recommendation since it's so hard to find if I didn't if it didn't resonate with me. I mean, I've thought about this TV show for years since it aired. So like I said, it was 2009 I think when it came out, and it's now 2020, and I'm still going, man, that Harper's Island, it was just such a good show. So like I said, if you are interested, I would definitely look it up, look into it. I really love Christopher Gorham. I used to watch him on Ugly Betty all the time, and I had such a crush on him. And so when I saw he was going to be in a horror series, I was like, oh yeah, absolutely going to watch that. So that was actually my reasoning for watching it in the first place. But he does a great job in this, and all the characters that are involved with it, I think, did a really good job. There were no contrite actors. There were no, stupid storylines that kind of like turned me off from the show. I was engaged from episode 1 all the way up until it ended. So definitely recommend Harper's Island if you have the opportunity to check that one out. So I will leave it at that, but let's go ahead and move on to our prompt for tomorrow. And so that one is 2000s horror. So I want to hear about your favorite horror movies that came out in the 2000s years, all the way from 2000 to 2009. So I'm really looking forward to hearing about what you guys have to say about this. So that is it for me today, and I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're healthy. I appreciate you being here yet again to watch this goofy face talk for, we're at 21 minutes today. That's pretty good because we had a 50-minute video just not too long ago, but it always depends on, certain aspects of the video, especially like with the TV shows. If there's a lot of seasons, there's a lot to talk about. So that's it for today. We get a short one, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the next video. Take care of yourselves, stay healthy, and I will see you soon. Bye.